But as far as freedom and liberty from that point of view, let's consider yourself, for example. You're studying anthropology. You're gonna get a degree in anthropology. That's your major. At some point, if you haven't already, you're going to have to give, on more than one occasion, a presentation before an audience, at the end of which there will be a question and answer period. Now, chances are that'll go very smoothly, because you'll be sitting in a classroom and things will be fairly controlled and everybody will know who everybody else is, and there are rules to be followed. Suppose, though, that you were taking your course on the internet, which is something that is going on, and let's say your audience was also on the internet. You were giving it an address by live video, and your audience was all sitting at their computers, and instead of, and let's say there was a way for them to ask you questions at the end of your presentation over the internet. How would you like to finish that presentation and have a few thousand questions thrown at you about how much you need to go on a diet, and or even horrible things about your mother or your parentage or what have you? This wouldn't happen in your classroom presentation, but suppose it did. Suppose you had 2 or 3 people sitting in your classroom that, instead of asking legitimate questions about what you just spent a lot of time working on and presenting, wanted to ask nonsense questions like that to really disrupt things. And let's say that they were loud, boisterous, and insistent, and uncontrollable in doing so. The realistic scenario is that they would be thrown out and probably expelled from school. So why shouldn't that happen to them on the internet? Whose liberty has precedence? Your liberty or their liberty? I don't think there's any question about it. The assholes have no right to be assholes on your time. On the internet, as far as I'm concerned, there can be places that advertise, come here and be as big an asshole as you want. And they can all go there and be assholes to each other. That's fine. On YouTube, it's a broad mix of things. There are places where assholes are welcome on YouTube, and there are places where they're not. And the unfortunate fact is that they tend to go where they are not welcome. That's what makes them assholes. So, it's a legitimate question about freedom, but I don't think it's a really serious question. I mean, everybody knows an asshole when they see one, unless they're an asshole themselves. I had a quick afterthought that I wanted to add to the end of this video on the question of censorship. A lot of what I call trolls claim that they're doing what they do in the name of freedom of speech. And they're out and out liars. They are the greatest enemies of freedom of speech. Consider what has happened more than once, in fact several times already, just here on YouTube, where a troll, capital T, will just take a dislike to some user, find out where they live, find out where their kids go to school, make a YouTube channel, and put all that information out there, saying where this person lives, where their kids go to school, what route the kids take to school, saying get the hell off of YouTube or face the consequences. Is putting a stop to that kind of crap censorship? I don't think so. I think that the person who does that kind of crap is censoring by interfering with an ordinary person's right to use the internet in a legitimate way. And right now, this has happened several times on YouTube without any consequences whatsoever to the criminal that did that. So yes, there is a need for this kind of system. I think that pretty much says everything I wanted to say, even if it didn't come out quite the way I wanted it to come out. Somewhere in there, I think I covered what I wanted to cover. I might have missed a few of the details I wanted to include. I'm pretty sure I had some examples I wanted to use that I didn't use, but at least in a broad way, I think I touched on the main points I wanted to address. So, if you have any more to say about it, you're welcome to do so. And again, thank you for taking the time to respond to my video in the first instance.